Respected participants, good evening and warm welcome to the one-day webinar NDLI and Enlist Treasure House of E-Resources organized by the College Central Library and IQAC team of Loganatha Narayana Swamy Government College, Ponneri, Tamil Nadu. Today's event is a part of Today's event is a part of series of webinars organized by our college. This historic webinar is the 9th of the series. In this e-gathering of the webinar, we have with us today various eminent academicians, principals, administrators, educational consultants, librarians, bibliophiles, research scholars, parents, and students across the country as participants. We welcome one and all for the webinar. Before requesting Madam Dr. M. Grace, our college librarian, to formally deliver the welcome address, I would like to personally record our sincere gratitude to our most respected principal, Dr. D. Segar sir, for being instrumental in organizing this event. The webinar session will formally begin with a welcome address by our beloved college librarian, Dr. M. Grace. It will be followed by the presentation by Dr. K. Ramaswamy, college librarian, MVM Government Arts College, Tindikal. During the course of the presentation, the participants can use the chat box to post your questions. The questions posed by the participants must have their name and designation, and it must be clear and precise. Please note, the queries posed by the participants will be taken up for discussion only after the completion of the presentation by the resource person. We would like to inform the participants that the link to the feedback form will be made available in the chat box only after 6 p.m. The participants are requested to submit the feedback form with email address and other details without any error. The details entered in the feedback form will be used for sending the e-certificate. Now, I request Madam Dr. M. Grace to deliver the welcome address. Thank you.
A warm good evening to one and all present here. A warm welcome to one and all present for this webinar, NDLI and Enlist Treasure of E-Resources. It doesn't therefore depend on human desire or effort, but on God's mercy. First of all, I thank our Lord Almighty for this pleasant evening and His blessing showered on us to be gathered here. Next, I would like to take this opportunity to honor and welcome and thank our principal, Dr. D. Segar, for his guidance and support for all the endeavors. Welcome you, sir. I welcome and thank the resource person, Dr. K. Ramaswamy, for accepting our invitation to present this lecture in this webinar. Welcome you, sir. And I would like to welcome IQAC coordinator Dr. Manjunathan and his team rendered a great support in these webinar arrangements. And I welcome all the HODs, professors and the participants of this webinar. I would like to give a small introduction about our resource person. Actually, he is very specialized in the field of library automation, digital library, ICT, research and statistical tools, metric studies, and many more. He has written more than 65 articles and more than 80 conference papers published, 3 books published, contributed more than 55 book chapters. He won 7 Best Paper Awards in various seminars and conferences. He played various roles as a director, chairperson, reporter of the conferences and seminars, and editorial member of various journals too. Definitely, his profile is a very big one. With this short note, I would like to conclude. I could say that definitely all of you gain more knowledge through this lecture. E-resources, actually, treasure of e-resources, NDLI and Enlist ICT plays a great role and open a new avenue to e-resources in our life. E-resources and e-learning are increasingly important to all aspects and all levels of education. E-resources use a high priority for the institutions. There are main problems finding is uneven skill set of personnel and lack of internal designation of e-resources. Today, the resource person provide you the lecture about the e-resources platforms, e-resource providers, and how to access them, and who all can access, and how to use them, the e-resources in an efficient manner to satisfy our information needs. With this short note of introduction, I hand over the session to the resource person, Dr. K. Ramaswamy, sir. Please.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Sir, நான் slides click பண்ணுவா sir இப்ப?
Sir. Yes, sir, you can.
Sir, screen visible irka sir?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. The most respected principal of the college, the IQAC coordinator, Dr. Manjunathan sir, and his team of members, my beloved friend, Dr. Grace Madam, the librarian, other faculty members of the college, the participants of this particular webinar, those who are drawn from different parts of this country. Very, very pleasant, joyful, and a warm evening to one and all. See, it gives me immense pleasure to be a part of this national webinar on NDLI and Enlist e-resources. And dear friends, we are all living in the digital world now, and we could see a lot of teenagers. To be more precisely, we have got a lot of screenagers around us. Why do I say screenagers? See, these are the people, those who have been growing by seeing their screens, either TV screens or computer screens or smartphone screens. So they're always growing in a digital world. They're all digital natives. And when they are a part and parcel of our academic community, we need to think about a system which will help us to reach this Y generation, the so-called Y generation youngsters. And when this ICT has come into a part and parcel of academic environment, we could see a lot of positive and impactful changes taking place in all the educational institutions. A good number of years before, we used to depend heavily on printed information materials, maybe books or textbooks or reference books or journals or magazines or whatever it may be. We used to go to libraries, sit there for hours, looking for a particular piece of information which may be found in a particular journal. But these days, due to the arrival of ICT tools and technologies, thanks to digitization efforts of various volunteering institutions, now we are in a better position to reach and access n number of electronic resources. See, the term E, the word E has been around surrounding us, whether it's e-learning platforms or e-marketing or e-payment, whatever it may be, this E has become a dominant factor in this particular world. So even in the education institutions, we go for the so-called e-resources, educational resources. See, what are the e-resources? The resources which are available in the digital form, and these are the resources. If you want to access these resources, you need a kind of electronic machine, a digital machine to read and access these resources. If these two conditions are fulfilled, you can say that they're all e-resources. And these e-resources can be either online or offline. See, online resources are those resources, those e-resources which are available online. So you should have a computer system, you should have a net connection, then you'll be able to access all those online e-resources. On the other side, we have offline e-resources. The e-resources, the digital resources, the electronic resources, which are available in your system, your pen drives, your CD-ROMs, or your mirror CDs, or your hard disk. So they are called offline e-resources. Whether they are online or offline, the e-resources can be conveniently categorized into free resources, open access resources, subscribe resources. See, free resources are those resources which are available free of cost. You need not pay any amount. Just go, download, make use of it. But in the case of subscribed e-resources, as an institution or as an individual, you have to pay money. You have to subscribe to a particular resource for a particular period of time. Then you can start making use of those resources for that particular period. Then comes, we have open educational e-resources. The e-resources which are exclusively prepared for the teaching community. In their teaching, learning, and research activities, they can make use of these OER materials. They can use, they can reuse, they can mix, they can remix, they can distribute, they can redistribute. So all kind of things can be done in case of open educational resources. Okay. And in today's session, I would like to talk about two important resources. One is Enlist e-resources, a paid one. The other one is NDLI, National Digital Library of India, a free e-resource. Okay. So let me begin the session with a theoretical background of endless e-resources. See, you know very well, getting e-resources is not that cheap. You have to invest a good amount of money to get even one single effective, impactful journal. You think about hundreds and hundreds of journals, thousands and thousands of ebooks available. Is it possible for an institution or for individual to be able to buy or subscribe to all these resources individually? It is very difficult. Even it is possible, one particular institution may be able to subscribe only a select number of e-journals, a group of ebooks, and not many. So what is solution? What I want to have more resources. I want to have the highly priced resources at a lesser rate. And I want to have a single window, a single platform through which I should be able to go and access all the resources. I want them to be at an affordable rate. I want to access them 24/7 into 365 days. And I want to access all the resources with a very, very minimum infrastructure what I have. Is it possible? Yes, that is possible because of the consortium approach. So what is consortium? A consortium is nothing but a group of libraries which come together and they talk to the publishers for the resources that they need together in common. They bargain and they get all the resources at a subsidized rate. That is what consortium is all about. For example, long back in 1980s itself, we had a consortium called FORSA among the institutes which are undertaking research in astronomy. Then we had a consortium for DAE, Department of Atomic Energy. Then Indian Institute of Management Libraries, they had formed their own consortium in 2001. Then all the CSIR labs, they have got their own consortium. Then all the engineering colleges, they have INDEST AICT consortium. And all the health libraries, they have HealthNet consortium. And all the state universities, they have UGC InfoNet Digital Library consortium. So in this consortium, the group of libraries will be able to access a good number of journals, a good number of e-resources at a rate which is somewhat lesser than what it would be possible if they go and buy all those resources individually. Fine. And what about our consortium which we are going to talk about? Now, we are going to talk about a consortium called eShod Sindhu. See, eShod Sindhu is a consortium. It is formed by combining or merging three earlier consortium which were existing. For example, we had three consortium. One is UGC InfoNet Digital Library Consortium. Then we had NList e-resource consortium. Then we had INDEST AICT consortium. So all these three were merged together and it is emerged under a single umbrella called eShod Sindhu. Fine. Under this eShod Sindhu consortium, one component which is meant for the arts and science colleges, in general colleges, is known as NList, National Library and Information Services Infrastructure for Scholarly Content. So initially, this particular project was started by Minister HRD under their National Mission on Education ICT. Later on, it was continued by UGC, especially from 2014 onwards. Fine. And you can ask the question, sir, where does it operate? See, NList is having the headquarters at InflipNet Center, Gujarat, Gandhinagar. They operate from there. And how can we access the e-resources which are available in this particular consortium? It's very simple. If you're in a college, I'll tell you which colleges are eligible to apply for this. So those colleges, you have to apply online. Once you apply with all the necessary particulars, the InflipNet Center, they will send you an invoice. You make the payment. Once payment is made, they will send the username and password to the administrator. So normally, college librarian or any other faculty member will be the administrator for running the NList services. And that particular administrator will prepare a list of all the members, faculty members, research scholars, students, and administrators will send this list to InflipNet, and InflipNet will send username and password individually to the faculty members or the students. So the faculty members or students, once they receive their email ID, they can open their email ID, they can activate the link, they will get username and password, and using that, they can access the e-resources wherever they are, whether they are at their home or hostel, a library, a department, or on the move, they are traveling, wherever they are, they will be able to access all the resources which are the part and parcel of this N-list consortium. Fine. A question comes here. Sir, at a time, how many people can access N-list in a particular institution? So there is no problem at all. Even if your institution is having 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 members, if you are given username and password to all of them can access N-list at the same time, no problem. Fine, good. Then comes, see what subjects are covered in N-list. See, basically, N-list is a package that has got e-journals and e-books on pure sciences, applied sciences, social sciences, humanities, including linguistics and languages. But please understand, N-list is not having any kind of e-resources which are exclusively meant for engineering, agriculture, medicine, management, pharmacy, dentistry. So these resources are not covered in N-list package. Fine. A question comes here, sir, may I share my N-list username and login with my friends? That is not supposed to be done, because once the username and password is given to you, you will be using that particular username and password wherever you go. If you hand over this username and password to your friends, then Infinite Center will have watch on this. Okay, they will see that one particular email ID used in many IP addresses, and sometimes they will disable your services. So please don't share your login ID with your friends. Fine. How do they operate? As I told you, they have got the servers deployed at the InflipNet Center, Gandhinagar. See, you will be accessing N-list e-resources just by sitting in your home with a laptop or a mobile phone. You will enter your username and password. This will go on to knock the door of the servers located at Gandhinagar. So in Gandhinagar, the servers will check and authenticate you. Once you are authenticated, then you will be directly visiting the websites of various publishers, and you will be able to search and download the required information. Fine. So what are the colleges I told you? So all the colleges, whatever I informed you, can become members of this particular service. And all the colleges which are covered under 12B or 2F section of University Grants Commission, even non-aided colleges, they are all eligible to apply for this consortium, particular consortium. And what do you get from this consortium? So this consortium gives you 6,100 plus full text e-journals and 31 lakhs plus e-books to you. So you can, as a member of N-list, you will be able to access and download the contents from 6,000 plus full text journals and 31 lakhs e-books. Fine. And who provides all these e-journals, all these e-books? See, these are the e-journal providers. For example, American Institute of Physics, they provide 18 titles. Institute of Physics, they give 46 titles. Oxford University, they give 206 titles, and the list goes on. Then as far as e-books are concerned, we have Cambridge Books Online, we have EBSCOhost, we have Oxford Scholarship, and we have Sage Publications, and we have the highest one, World eBooks Library, which provides around 30 lakhs ebooks to the N-list users. Fine. This is another bibliographic database which was being provided by N-list when it was standing alone. But when it is merged with eShod-Sindhu, this particular database is now available with eShod-Sindhu, and this particular database is not available as on today with N-list. Fine. And before we get to the practical demo of the e-resource package, let me tell you what is permitted and what is not permitted when you are making use of N-list consortium. So what is permitted? For example, you go to N-list, you search for something, you get the result. This particular result can be seen, can be downloaded, can be copied, can be printed, can be saved. That is permitted. If you want to download one or two articles here and there, now and then from many journals, you are permitted. You can download those individual journals. You can take a copy of it. You can take a print. You can save it, no problem. And if you want to use the resources of N-list for educational purposes, for research purposes, teaching purposes, for your self-improvement, or for your clinical medical experimentations, you are permitted, no problem. And if you want to send a copy of a particular resource to any authorized user, that is permitted. So you are a scholar, there is another scholar who is having a active email ID, active enlist ID, then you can send that particular useful resource to another authorized user, no problem. And apart from that, see, you have seen a very useful link to a particular resource. So what you can do is that not the exact file, but the URL of that particular file can be posted in any open forums. Absolute no problem. So you are permitted to do all these kinds of things. Good. But you are not permitted with few things. What are they? One is there are some techno savvies. They've got their own mechanisms of doing kind of bulk downloading or automated downloading. So that kind of mechanized bulk downloading is not permitted in the case of Enlist. And secondly, see, even as a person, you may not be and you are not supposed to download all the issues, all the articles of a particular journal, maybe 30, 40, 50 articles at a time. So that is not permitted in the case of Enlist. Not only that, you are not supposed to take the content from Enlist and use it for your commercial purpose, maybe reselling, redistribution, republishing. Such kind of activities are not permitted. And apart from that, you are not supposed to take some content from Enlist and sending it all those to some unauthorized Enlist users. Even that is not permitted. And the last one, if you're having a PDF version of a particular file, what you have downloaded from Enlist, you are not supposed to post the PDF in open platforms. See, you can post the URL link of the particular PDF file, but not the original PDF file. So these things are not permitted when you are making use of Enlist e-resources. Fine. Now let us go to the practical part of Enlist. Yes, let us get into Enlist practical concepts. Just go to Google and type Enlist and you will get this particular website, enlist.inflipnet.ac.in. And this homepage, you can see here, they give an introduction about Enlist. Here they tell you who are all eligible to apply for Enlist service. If you are an authorized member, you can log in using this particular button in the homepage. And if you come down the homepage, you got an option for the college administrator to log in. And here they tell you how many colleges as on today are making use of Enlist services. And the rightmost side, you can see the top 10 colleges which are using maximum of Enlist resources. So this is a kind of a scroll, it keeps on coming. If you come still further down in the home page, you will see contact address and all other links. Fine. And if you happen to see the menus, we got two rows of menus. The first row we got college administrator, we have license and fair use, we have frequently asked questions and downloads. The second row we got 6 items: home, about, members, registered, e-resources, and search. So let us see these things one by one. Let me start with second row, home. If you click on home, whatever I had discussed you now, those particular screen will be visible to you. And when you click on next screen, you click on members. So let us see these things one by one. Hello?
Sir, you can go ahead, sir.
Thank you, thank you. So when you click on members, it gives you following options. What options are available? It tells you if a college wants to join this particular service, what are the conditions? What are the rules and regulations? You can read here. And if you click on next button called member college status, you can go and check what is the status of a particular college. How you can do that? It's very simple. Okay, there is an option for all the 3,000 plus colleges which are enrolled themselves as members of Enlist service. All are listed in the alphabetical order here. You can click any alphabet, you can find out the college, or you can in the search box, you can type. For example, I just typed my college name, MB Muttaya. You can see the result here. MB Muttaya Government Arts College for Women. What is the address and what is the registered on, verified on. So all the particulars will be on the screen. You can go and check for any college. And apart from that, you can go and find out state-wise list of colleges which are enrolled in Enlist. For example, in Tamil Nadu, we have got around 292 colleges which are enrolled here in this particular service. So I just clicked on this Tamil Nadu. You'll get a screen where all the colleges, around 260 colleges, which are listed in Enlist from Tamil Nadu are listed. You can just go and search for any college. For example, I just typed, you can go and type, I just typed Annammal College. You can see the screen, the result is there. So this particular tab called the members will be used for knowing the particulars of how to join and to check the colleges which are listed as members of Enlist. Good. And the next one is register the colleges which like to apply and get this particular e-resource package. They have to apply online, and this is a place where you can apply. So all the particulars, including your 12B certificate and what are the courses you have, UG courses, PG courses, and all the particulars you have to give and submit. Fine. And then, so now we discuss about these 4 components. Now let me go to the topmost one, which has got 4 components. We'll discuss about them one by one. The first one is college admin, the place where the college admin will have the necessary instructions for him. And even they provide college admin login here also. That's the first one. And second one, license and fair use. So they talk about license. Please understand all the resources which are available in Enlist or copyrighted, and you have to make use of all the resources based on the principle of fair use. So what is a fair use? See, you can take the content from Enlist and you can use it for your educational, you can use it for teaching, learning, research activities. Okay, that's what we call as a fair use of e-resources. Fine. That's the second option. What is the third option? Frequently asked questions. If you got any basic questions, you can go here and you can read all the FAQs that's available here. Then comes download option, last option, the first row. If you go to this particular page, you can download Enlist browser, and apart from that, they give you list of journals which are available with various publishers. Just go and click any one publisher. For example, I clicked on this American Institute of Physics. I just clicked on download, and you can see here the entire file is downloaded as a TSV file, tab separated value file, which can be opened using your MS Excel. This way, you can go and find out what journals are available with each and every publisher. You can download and keep it with you. Fine. Now, let me come to the bottommost part of the screen. 2 options are available. One is e-resources and another is search. First, let us discuss about e-resources. See, when you click on e-resources, you can see here who are all the journal publishers. So all the journal publishers and the URL to access these publishers. That particular list is available. And if you come down, you'll be seeing the e-book publishers and the URLs to access all these publishers. Fine. Good. Now, let me give you 2 examples. First example, I would like to show you how you can go to a particular e-journal publisher and get the content. And secondly, I would like to show you how you can go to a e-book supplier and download a book or a chapter of your choice. Okay, fine. For example, I want to get a journal in physics. So what I do is that I clicked on American Institute of Physics, this particular URL, and this URL will be redirecting you, and you will be asked to enter your username and password. Okay, whatever username password you have received from your college administrator, you can kindly enter your username and password, then click on login, and you will be landing in that particular publisher's homepage. So the homepage of AIP, American Institute of Physics. And this particular publisher, they provide you 18 journals. Okay, for example, I select one particular journal by name, Journal of Mathematical Physics. So I have just reached the journal from where I would like to get some contents. Okay, once you go to contents, you will see table of contents, May 2020, and all the articles published in May 2020 will be listed. Fine. So what you can do with this, for example, just below each and every journal article, you can see something called the show abstract. There is something called PDF, add to favorites, share, and export citations. For example, I just click on show abstract. What happens? You can read the abstract. So if you're feeling that this article is good for my teaching, learning, or research work, then what you can do is that you can click on PDF, this downward arrow. If you click this particular arrow, the particular article will be downloaded and you will see the PDF version of the article. Fine. And third one is share. If you want to share this particular article, not the article, the bibliographical details about this article. So the title of the article, author, journal, volume number, issue number, page number. If you want to share these particulars with your friend or your guide or your faculty member, you can send an email. You can send the information through Facebook or LinkedIn, or even you can send a kind of recommendation to your friend. See, there's an option to recommend to your friend. You can recommend to your friend particular stating that, see, this particular article is very good for this particular area, nuclear physics. So he will be able to come and look for this particular article. Or even you can recommend a particular journal or a particular issue to a librarian. Even that is permitted. And then comes export citation. So if you want to know how should I cite this particular article, I have made use of this particular article, I need to know in EPA style or MLA style or Nature style or IEEE style, how can I prepare reference for this particular article? So click on export citation data, not only for the article. For example, there's an article, the article has got 20 references at the end of it. So if you want, even all those 20 references also can be exported. So AIP, this particular publisher, they provide options for both. That means either you export the bibliographical details of the article which you have downloaded, which you have selected, or all the references which are included as a part and parcel of that journal, you can also export all the citations. So both are possible in the case of AIP. Fine. Next comes favorites. So when you want to add a particular journal or a particular issue or a particular article as your favorite, then they will ask you to give a login. So you have to create a separate login for this particular publisher. Please understand, this login ID has got no connection with the Enlist username and password. The username and password what you are going to use here is exclusively meant for this particular publisher. Okay, so if you want, you can create one for you also. See, there's an option for registering. Give all the particulars and submit it. They will send a mail to you. You activate the mail. Once the mail is activated, you can see here, welcome Ramasamy K. Now I am in my account. See, once you have registered yourself in this particular AIP platform, what else you can do here? See, there is a platform, a place meant for you, wherein you can go and change all your particulars. Your personal particulars can be changed. That is possible. And secondly, very importantly, after entering yourself as a registered member inside AIP, you can create alerts. See, these are the journals published by AIP. You can select what are the journals for which you want to create alert. So you can go and select any number of journals. If you select 3 or 4 journals, whenever a particular article, particular issue, particular volume is published, immediately you will get an email alert. You can select the journals. Otherwise, AIP is publishing a lot of newsletters. Even you can create alert for the newsletters which is being published by AIP. Otherwise, also is one more option. So you can select the topics, keywords, your research areas. For example, you may be interested in nuclear physics. You may be interested in some other areas of physics. So you can just click on the research areas, keywords, so that whenever a new article is published relating to the particular keyword, immediately you will be notified through your email address. So these kinds of alerts can be created only when you become a member in AIP. Fine. Good. In that case, you can go and add your favorites to your personal registered account in AIP. And apart from that, here you can see here, saved searches. See, for example, I conduct a search inside AIP. I want to search all the 18 journals of AIP. For example, I just typed nuclear physics and I got around, you will not believe, I got around 3 lakhs articles. The left side, you can see there are some filters which can be applied by you to identify exactly what you need. Maybe based on the article type, I want only articles, I want only letters, I want only short communications. You can filter the result by the article type or era publication, or even you can use authors or publishers. So by filtering all these things, you will get the required number of list of articles. So once you get the required list, then you click on Save Search button. This will be saved. Before that, it will ask you to give a name for your search. So you can give a name for your search, click on Save Search, And you can see here, all the searches, whatever you conducted will be saved here. So any point of time, you can come back to AIP and you can run the search, you can rerun the search, you can delete the search. All those things are possible in the case of AIP. Fine. And this is how you can go to a particular e-journal publisher. You can go and search for a journal, search for an article, and you can deal with all things. Fine. And a second example, I would like to show you how you can go to a particular ebook publisher and get a book or a chapter. Fine. So where I'm supposed to go? In the home page, there's an option, second row, e-resources. Click on e-resources. All the ebook publishers will be displayed. For example, I want to get some book from Sage Publications. So look for Sage Publications and click on this particular URL and you will be landing here, the home page of Sage Publications. Fine. And in the search box, search for books, videos, encyclopedias. I just type the keyword SPSS. I want to get some books about SPSS. I click this search button and I got around 388 books on SPSS. Fine. I may not need all the books. I would like to select the books. How to select? Based on the filters which are available on the right side. You can see right side, content type, works and sections, subject, publication date. See, these filters can be used by you to filter and find out exactly the book what you require. For example, you can choose for the whole book, you can choose for reference books, or you can choose for the entire book, or you can choose for chapters, or you can decide on the subject. For example, I want a book on SPSS which is dealing from the point of view of criminology, from the point of view of education. I can restrict my results using subject filter. Otherwise also I can make use of publication date. Okay, see, all these things apart from the so-called filters can be used. So now when I use these filters, I just got 7 books. I used 3 filters, I got 7 books. Now I will go through all the books and I will select one particular book. So what are the filters I used? I want only full books. I want the books from the point of view of education. So 7 books are there. Good. So now you can see here the book. I have selected one particular book by name Research Methods. The right side you can see a related titles. So though you search for one particular concept, this particular Sage publication, they will tell you that apart from the book what you got, we have got some more similar titles, related books which you can make use of it. So they give you this kind of suggestion also. Okay, fine. So if you click this particular book, you can see all the chapters which are available in this particular book will be displayed. For example, I click chapter 4. Now chapter 4 appears here. Here few options are there. See, if you want to read the chapter online, no problem. Click the chapter. You can read the entire chapter online. Absolutely no problem. Otherwise, if you want to download this chapter, you can click on download PDF. Then the entire chapter will be downloaded as a PDF file. Even that is possible. Or if you want to see what are the subheadings of the particular page, particular chapter, you can go and see by clicking on this page. Otherwise, if you want to search, for example, I want to search the contents of this particular page, I will have to give a keyword. I will have to check whether this particular keyword appears in this page or not. Even that is possible. You can type your keyword here. You can click search button. It tells you where and all your keyword appears. Even that is possible inside a particular book chapter. Fine. The right side you can navigate. You want to go to next chapter or previous chapter, you can make use of this navigation buttons. And apart from that, you can have an alphabetical subject index for the particular book. And then the right side you have got 4 buttons. This button is to get citation for this particular book, and this is to add favorites, and this is to share the information about this book to your friends, and this is to increase the font size of the document. Fine. So I click citations. It asks you the style. I selected APA, and system gives you in APA style how you have to prepare reference for this particular book. So this way you can generate citations. Then if you are signing in, you can add this particular book as your favorite. That is permitted. And you can share this book and you can increase or decrease the font size also. So these are a few things which you can do with a particular book. Fine. So I told you 2 things. How you can go to a particular e-journal publisher and get the required particular journal or issue in a particular journal or article in a journal. Or if you're going to a particular ebook publisher, how you can go and search for a book and download the chapters. So that is possible. But please understand, most of the publishers may not permit you to download the entire book as such. If you want to download, you can download the entire book in chapters. Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3. That way you can go and download, no problem. Fine. Yes. Let me come back to the last option here. In the home screen, the second line, we have got something called the search button. So click on search button. This is a basic search option. Here comes basic search option. You can go and type the keyword here. For example, I have chosen title. You can choose any keyword. Fine. For example, I have typed artificial intelligence, and here I have chosen title as my field. That means I want to search for e-journals or e-books whose title have got artificial intelligence in it. Fine. Okay. You click on search button, you will see the entire results. So they have got around 1070 results on artificial intelligence. Once again, you see on the right side various filters that will help you to exactly find out what you need. You can make use of all these filters. Maybe format. I want only ebook. I want only conference proceeding. I want only thesis. I want only journal. So that way you can filter it. Fine. And next you can, as I told you, format. Then you can filter by language. I want only the books in English or whatever languages available in this particular screen. You can choose the era publication and you can choose publisher. So I want the ebooks, e-journals only from McGraw-Hill, only from Springer, only from H.W. Wilson. So you can make use of all these filters. Fine. If I click ebooks, only ebooks should be appearing. And if I click e-thesis, only 3 theses are available on artificial intelligence. And if you click on journal, only 1 journal is available on artificial intelligence in Enlist package. Fine. And if you click any particular item, you'll be taken to a screen where you can find out the citation. You can email this particular information or you can download. Fine. And if you want to download this, once again, they will ask you to enter the Enlist username and password. Fine. Good. You have to accept it. Then you can go and download entire content as such. Absolutely no problem. And when you get the results here, under every result, there's an option for click to view. If you click on this click to view, then you'll be asked to enter your username and password. Okay, fine, good. And apart from this, you can go for advanced search. In the home page, just near to search box, there's an advanced search button. You click on advanced search button. That will take you to a fresh page of advanced search. Here, you can search for a particular document that fulfills many criteria. For example, you want an article written by so-and-so from so-and-so publisher, in so-and-so format, so-and-so year, so-and-so country. So that way, you can have all advanced fields here. So 3 fields are there. If you click here, add search field, you'll get 1 more. So 3 are there. Click add search field. Here, you'll get 1 more. Now 4 search fields are there. Apart from that, here there is something called add search group. You click on that, you'll get 1 more group. That means you can have 2 different groups of searches. This is a first group and this is a second group. So that way, even you can have a 2 group way of searching for a particular document. Not only that, see, even before you start conducting a search in Enlist, you can restrict your search. In the advanced search, before you give a search command, you can restrict that. I want the resource only from library, or only from annual reviews. I want the content only from this particular language. I want only book. I want only map. I want only thesis. So that way you can go and restrict your research. Apart from that, you can decide whether you want a journal or a book with illustrations or without illustrations. So what should be the year of publication? So you can say, I want all the books on this particular concept published between 2010 and 2015. So that kind of year range can be given. And apart from that, if you come down here, they give you 4 options. One is search history, advanced search, browser catalog, and explore channels. I think I told you about advanced search. Let me tell you something about other 3 things. Fine. You click on search history. Whatever searches you have conducted so far, all the searches will be displayed in the screen. Okay. If you want, you can rerun it and you can save it. If you don't want, you can delete it. Fine. That option is available. Then comes browser catalog. You can browse the catalog. See, If you are going to a physical library, what you can do is that you can go and see the catalog. You can search for a particular book using author or title or subject or series. So you can use all those fields to search for a catalog in library. In the same way, even Enlist helps you to give an online catalog. Okay, what are the fields you can use for searching? Call number. Call number is nothing but a artificial number given by them to arrange all the subjects. Then author, then topic, then nature, then region, then era. Using all these fields, we can go and search for the contents available in Enlist. Okay, for example, I click call number, all the subjects appear, A to Z, all the subjects. Then I click on maybe something like sociology, I click on, and you'll get a subdivided list of subjects. Then I want to get some books on sociology, e-resources on sociology. You click on sociology and you'll get all the contents. How many are there? We get around 2,500 e-resources on sociology. Once again, you can go to the right side, make use of all the filters and confine and refine your search till you get exactly what you need. The same way, you can make use of other fields also. For example, you are looking for a e-resource by a particular author. So click on author. Here, you can choose authors based on what. For example, I clicked on region. I want the authors of United States, China, Germany. So you can decide. See, I want the books written by authors from India, authors from America. You can decide. For example, I just selected here India, and they will ask you what is the name of the author. See, you select, I want to get e-resources available in Enlist, which are from the authors of India. And what is the name of the author? For example, I select Banerjee. See, once you do all these things, then you will get the results. Fine. So result is here. You can see the result. Only 2 articles, 2 e-resources are available in Enlist platform, which are contributed by Dr. Banerjee. Fine. Then you can search by topic. Subject wise, you can search. For example, you want 19th century books on social conditions, or you want 17th century books in American literature. This we can go and search by topic. That is possible. So these are the history documents. These are the history documents available in 19th century. You can go and browse. And by nature of books, for example, I want case studies, I want biographies, I want correspondence, I want statistical handbooks. So what is the nature of the book you want to search for? So based on the nature of the book, you can select the country, you can select the region, and you'll get the results. Even that is possible. Fine. And then comes the region. You can search for the books published in a particular region, a particular country, starting from USA, all the countries that you can go and select. Fine. Even that country-wise listing is possible. And you can search by year also. So making all these options, you will be able to browse all the 6,000 plus journals and 31 lakhs ebooks. Good? Fine. And there is another thing called channels available in Enlist. See, by default, they have created some channels. See, one channel consists of a good number of highly selective e-resources. See, already Enlist has selected a good number of channels. For example, these are the various journals, various channels available. And these many channels are already available. If you want to create one channel for yourself, what you can do is that you can click. Okay, for example, I have selecting topic computers. You click on topic computers, a list will come, all the resources related to computers. You can go through all the resources, and if you feel all the best resources that you need for you can be added as a channel for yourself. So you can create a channel like that. Fine. See, when I select a particular book, it tells you in what are the channels this particular item appears. So there are many channels are there. The same resource may appear in more than one channel. So if you give a click on this, this will tell you in what are all the channels this particular e-resource looks, so that you can find. Fine, that is possible. Or if you look at the view record, you can go and have a look at that particular e-resource before you decide to add that particular e-resource to your channel. You can decide after viewing the record, you can decide whether you have to add this or not. Okay, so that kind of things are possible in Enlist. Fine. The last one, they give you search tips, how to search for contents in Enlist. So they give you a lot of tips. One is advanced searching tips, how to do field search, and how we can undertake group search. So they give an example also, you can understand very easily. And they give you how you can make use of different kinds of search strategies. For example, I'll give you one example. So they give an example on how you can make use of proximity search. What is a proximity search? For example, you are searching for two keywords, economics and Keynes, but you want only those e-resources which have got these two words at 10 words apart. There should be only 10 words difference between the word economics and the word Keynes. The occurrence of these two words should be 10 words apart. You can go and search for only those documents, or you can go for searching range searches. For example, I want to get a particular article published between two particular years, or from this block to that block. So that kind of range search you can do. So if you go to this particular option, you'll be able to read with an example different kinds of search strategies that can be employed in Enlist. Good. And if you click this particular icon when you're doing a search, you'll get this particular option called the browse by language. You can go and see what are the languages in which Enlist is having the content. For example, I clicked the Hindi and I could see around 81 books available in Hindi. Fine. Yes. And the top right side, you can see login option. Okay, login option is there. You can click login option, and the login language option is available. You can see for language option. And if you want to access the e-resources full text, you have to log in. Otherwise, no need for that. And interface can be available in 3 languages: in English, Hindi, and Marathi. You can see, and this is a Hindi interface. Fine. And this is a middle panel. Even the home page, middle box, there is such option. For example, I just typed COVID-19, and you'll get all the resources. Once again, make use of all the filters and refine your search. Fine. So 2 possibilities are there. See, either when you are starting searching for contents in Enlist, you log in first, give your username and password, enter into your Enlist website, search for things, you get it, then they will not ask you to enter username and password again. Otherwise, see, you don't worry about username password. You just go as a freelance user, go on the browse, go on the search. If you find something very useful, if you want to get the full text of that particular e-resource, then you will be prompted to enter your login ID and password. So you can try accessing e-resources in both the ways. So both are there. Fine. And these are the things we have discussed so far. I talked to you about introduction about Enlist, how members search can be done, how can we register for Enlist service in a college, and what about the college admin, what about the license and fair use, and where can you get frequently asked questions, what are the downloads, and the most important menu items, e-resources and the search, how you can go and approach, access, download the e-resources from e-journal publishers and e-book publishers, and how we can conduct various kinds of searches to get exactly what we need. Fine. I think that's clear about Enlist. Now, let me move on to my next presentation. Yes, the second part of my presentation, I would like to talk about NDLI, the National Digital Library of India. See, this is a mega project from Government of India, and what government has done is that they have created a digital platform which will have all kinds of educational e-resources, and they would like to provide this particular resource in as many languages as possible. They would like to give a single window platform wherein within a lesser period of time, you would be able to exactly find out what you need. And this particular service of Government of India, see, they don't have content by themselves. They provide you only information about the contents. So that's about NDLI. And NDLI is meant for everybody. Whether you are a school-going student, first standard child, second standard child, or you are a UG student, PG student, you are a lifelong learner, you are a faculty member, you are a research scholar, you are a librarian. So anybody can make use of NDLI, which was launched officially on June 19th, 2018. Fine. And what do they have in India? As I told you, See, NDLI is not hosting, is not storing any full text content with them. What they do is that they do not store content, but they have only metadata. What is metadata? Data about data. See, if you take a journal, what's the metadata? Title of the journal, name of the author, name of the journal, volume number, issue number. All these things are called as metadata for that particular journal article. So NDLI is storing only the metadata about the information. And you can ask a question, sir, if they are having only metadata, where can I find the full text contents? See, content is delivered from source. What is the source? See, many institutions have partnered, signed MOU with NDLI to give their contents. Okay, for example, we have around 251 content contributors, starting from IITs, NITs, Bharat University, DOJ, Directory of Open Access Journals, Shodhganga, IEEE Explore, LibriVox, Microsoft, Springer, Project Ascar, South Asian Archive, Manipal University. It's like this, 250 plus institutions, publishers, they are ready to share their content with the NDLI. So NDLI provides you a window. You go search. If you want a content, you'll be directed to a particular source, particular institution which provides you the original content, and you will be able to access and download the original content, the full text content from the publishers, not from NDLI. So NDLI is giving you only the metadata of all the information. Please understand that very clearly. And what about the quantum of resources available? So dear friends, you will not believe, we have 4.8 crores of documents in this particular National Digital Library. You will not believe, 4.8 crores of documents, of which 1.03 crores of contents on technology, 99 lakhs of contents on computer science, information, general works, 80 lakhs of contents on natural sciences and mathematics, and 45 lakhs quantity of e-resources on social sciences. So they have got contents on almost all subjects. Fine. As I told you, more than 250 institutions and publishers, they are providing their content. Fine. And who are the top contributors? World eBook Library, they provide you 77 lakhs e-resources. CiteSeerX, 52 lakhs. PubMed Central, 38 lakhs. DOJ, 26 lakhs. Springer, 21 lakhs. Paperity, 16 lakhs. What is Paperity? So Paperity is the world first multidisciplinary open access aggregator. So they provide 16 lakhs of resources. Then we have ERIC, we have ACM Digital Library. So all these people are the top contributors to NDLI. Fine, good. And what kind of resource types are available in NDLI? So you name it, it is available. Whether you want articles, you want books, reports, notes, law judgments, technical reports, theses, video lectures. So all kinds of learning resources are available in NDI platform. Fine, good. And 4.8 crores of documents which are available in NList can be categorized into 5 options based on the access rights. What are they? One is NDLI resources. 77 lakhs of resources are possessed by NDLI. So once you enter into NDLI website, you have to become a member. If you become a member of NDLI, then you will be able to access all these 78 lakhs of e-resources. Fine, okay. And what about these open resources? This 2.72 crores of e-resources are free to anybody. You need not become a member of NDLI. You visit NDLI, search for the content. These 2.7 crores of documents can be downloaded just like that. No problem. Fine. And what about these subscribed resources? See, you go to NDLI, search for some information, you got it. When you're trying to get the full text of the particular e-resource, only when your institution has subscribed to it, then you will be able to download it. Otherwise, you will not be able to download it. That's about subscribed resources. And these limited and authorized resources are those resources. If you want to access these full text resources, then the particular publisher particular distributor, they have to give a username and password to you. Then you will be able to access these resources. So these are 5 different kinds of e-resources which are available with NDLI. It's meant for whom? It's meant for everybody. Whether you are in a school, you are in a college, you are a freelancer, working professional, or you are an academician, or you are an entrepreneur, or you are a lifelong learner. So NDLI is meant for everybody. It has got contents for all categories and all range of people. Fine. And let me go to the practical demo of NDLI. Just go to Google and type NDLI, and you will get this particular homepage, ndl.iitkgp.az.in. It means that, so this particular project is sponsored by Ministry of HRD, and it's being operated and run by IIT Kharagpur. And the homepage, you can see a search box here. Left side, you can see browse button and search button. Right side, you can see language and login button. If you come down, you can see study at home. They give you all the resources in many categories, study at home. Then you got something called COVID-19 research repository. In this lockdown period, whatever e-resources they have on COVID-19, all those resources are given free of cost here, a separate category. Then comes featured collection. They have got some featured collections. I'll tell you what are those featured collections. And if you come down, you will see some information about sponsor, bulk registration, feedback, all those things. Fine. And now about NDLI, I told you about NDLI. So let me not repeat all those things. It's sponsored by MHRD through their NMEICT project. Fine. I told you already. This is the homepage we are going to talk about. As I told you, NDLI gives you 4.8 crores of resources for your access. Fine. First, let me talk about the homepage. In the homepage, there is a study at home. I can categorically divide the study at home into 3 groups. One is school. Those who are in school education, school teachers, or your children may be in various schools. Your friends may be in various schools. You can make use of these resources. CBSE examination preparatory. The children, those who are in CBSE 10th standard, CBSE 12th standard, for them you can make use of these resources. And other resources called engineering, science, humanities, literature, law and management. These e-resources are meant for everybody. Fine. Let us talk about those things one by one. And here, the interface is available in many languages. Okay, you can go and select, for example, I selected Tamil language. You can see here, Thedal, Moli, Ulmulai. The interface can be changed into any language. That is possible. Okay, all the interface is in Tamil language. Good. And if you click on login button, you can, if you're already a member, you can enter your username, password, and the code word. You'll be able to enter. If you're not a member, then click on this register button. If you register, it will ask you to give all the particulars. You give all the particulars to register you as a member. Then you'll get a username and password in your email ID. You can activate it. You can use it. No problem. Fine. And what are the resources I told you? First one is study at home, school-based resources. Okay. In the school resources, they got 5 different categories of resources. You click on video lectures. First option, you get all the video lectures on any different subject. For example, I click any one called the exam fear, something like that. So they give you video materials for all the classes, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and NEET biology, NEET physics, English grammar, physical experiments. So they give you videos for all these things. For example, let me select one particular class. I selected class 8. In class 8, I selected mathematics. In mathematics, I selected practical geometry. In practical geometry, I selected one particular concept. So the related video will appear on the left side. You click this button, the video goes on. You can watch the video, no problem. Fine. And if you give a click here, right click, you'll get the YouTube link. You can go to YouTube. You can even download and save it in your system. Even that is possible. Fine. That's about video lectures. And here in the top, you can see something called metadata. I told you, what is metadata. If you click this metadata, and they will give you all the particulars about that particular video, what you have chosen. Fine. So this, you can, if you are interested, you can even look for metadata. Fine. If you want NEET physics, you can have it, no problem. And if you want the grammar, you can have it video, you can have it, no problem. So all these things are video lectures. And second one is JEE preparation materials. If your children are neighbor children, friend children, they are preparing for JEE, both preliminary and advanced JEE, you will get all the video and audio and PDF materials here. For example, I just clicked for questionnaires. So JEE Advanced 2018 paper, each and every paper I can go and download. It's free, you can just go and try. And third one is simulations, activities, and self-assessments, which can be used by, you can have books, you can quizzes, you can online interactive activities, you can have lab materials, you can have education apps. All those things are possible under this particular category. For example, I click that particular option by name simulations, one particular option. It gives you around 18,000 materials. I select second option, scale, drawing, and percent. I just click that. The video appears. The beauty is that just click this particular skull-like option. You will get this particular screen. If you want to do something, you have to register. Okay, using your Gmail ID, you can register. It's very simple. Once it is registered, okay, you have to choose your Gmail account and you'll get the password and all. Once it is done, in this particular website, you can make your interactions very, very good. For example, if you want to underline the things, you can underline. That is permitted. If you want to add some notes, see, there is a word for which you have found out the meaning from a dictionary. So you can click the word, you can add notes here. Maybe after reading this particular material, if you want to do any practice, you click on practice. They will give you whether you want some download worksheet. You say yes. They will ask whether you want a PDF worksheet or HTML worksheet. You select, then you want download, you click on download, then the worksheet will be sent to your email ID. You can download, you can practice. So when these kind of interactive activities are possible with regard to this particular category of e-resource. Fine. Then leftmost portion, you can see table of contents. If it is a particular package, each and every chapter can be seen using this TOC button. Apart from that, if you want to share this particular e-resource with your friends, you can share always with Facebook and Twitter. Even they provide options for this kinds of social media sharing buttons are also available here. And then next one, I go for books, question papers, and solutions. See, whatever state board, whether Tamil Nadu state board or Maharashtra or West Bengal or Karnataka or Kerala or CBSE or ICSE, whatever is there, any kind of boards, if you want textbooks, if you want question papers, if you want solutions, you can come to this particular page. All the state boards are there. Even CBSE is available. For example, I selected Tamil Nadu board books. I click, all the textbooks appears. You can select the class, which class. For example, I want to get one chapter from class 10 biology. No problem. You can download, you can click it, no problem. You can download it. This way, textbooks of almost all the state boards and CBSE boards can be downloaded free of cost. Then comes books for general reading, the last one for school children. Books for general reading, click it. You'll get around 100 PDF storybooks are there. You can go and download any book of your choice. Fine. So that's about general school materials. Then next one is CBSE exam preparatory. This is a section where they concentrate on e-resources meant for those children who are preparing class 10 or class 12 in CBSE schools. Okay, you go second option. They provide you materials for both class 10 and class 12. Okay, what you can do is that, for example, I want to search for class 10. I click and search class 10. You come to this particular screen. Three options are available. One is by source, by content type, and by subject. I clicked by source, you will land here. That means, see, you want some materials, some e-resources for class 10. Whose materials do you want? Whether you want the materials prepared by government bodies, or you want the materials prepared by Kendriya Vidyalayas, or you want the materials prepared by non-government organizations like Byju's, like such Topper Learning, those kind of private people. You can select. Fine. And the same way, second one is content. You can go and search for content. For example, you can go and search for only audio materials. You want only books. You want to search for notes. You want to search for PPTs. You want to search for question papers. You want to do some kind of solutions and self-test. You want the videos. So depending on the content, you can go and search. For example, let me click on question paper. If you click on question paper, you will reach here. Here, you can decide question paper by subject. You can choose subject-wise question papers. You can select source-wise question papers. So I want the question papers published by so-and-so company, so-and-so institution. So that way you can filter your question paper. Not only that, you can filter by language. I want English question papers in English. I want question papers in Hindi. I want Sanskrit question papers. So that way you can categorize the results by using these kinds of filters here, and you can search by subject. See, around 5 or 6 subjects are there. You can go and search for the e-resources meant for those 5 or 6 subjects in CBSE. So all these things are possible. So once these two things are which are dealing with the school resources are over, let me come back to the other section where they give you resources on almost all the subjects. These resources are meant for everybody from class 1 to UG, PG, PhD, research scholars. Everybody can make use of these resources. Okay, what are they? Under science, they are given a lot of groupings. You can go and select any subject. For example, I click computer science. Lot of videos, audios, all the things will be coming. You can select and you can watch the videos or audios. Biology and biotechnology, all the resources. And for example, in botany, I selected biology, selected something like genetics, one particular lesson. You can just download, you can see, no problem. And humanities, these many subjects are there. You can go and search for the information available under all these subjects. For example, I selected economics, audios, video lectures on many different topics are available here. Then comes literature. We have e-resources on English literature, Hindi literature, Sanskrit literature, Urdu literature, all literature available. You click on English literature. For example, I clicked English literature. There is something called LibriVox. See, LibriVox is a platform that gives you audio lectures. See, almost in all different areas, LibriVox gives you audio lectures. I clicked on audio LibriVox. What happens here is that all the sub units have appeared. I selected one particular unit called English literature fiction, Chaucer to Spencer. If you click this particular audio will start playing. If you want to download the audio, you can download also, no problem. Fine. Then comes literary works. You can go and search for literary works, fictions, one-act plays, and such kind of things written by great personalities. You can click the author. For example, I clicked Mark Twain. All the 172 results of Mark Twain are on the screen. You can go and see and download if it is available in the full text format. Fine. Then comes, as I told you, featured collections. Under featured collection, they give you two things. One is, every day they post you what is the importance of that particular day and what is the history of celebrating that particular day, what is the importance of that particular day, how we have to celebrate that particular day. So that kind of importance of every day is given here. And here you can go and see the previous day important, previous day what is important, the next day what is important. Even that kind of information they provide you every day. And whatever talks and webinars conducted by NDLI authorities, all those talks, all those webinar materials are available free of cost. You can go and download, no problem. Fine. So far I just told you what are the things available in the home page where you can go and search for. Now, so as I told you, they got 4.8 crores of documents. So you want to search, you want to browse the contents. How to browse? See, in the home page, left side topmost, there's an option for browse. You click on browse, you got 4 options: by type, by subject, by source, by learning resource type. That means you can go on to browse these 4.8 crores of documents using any one of these 4 options. Let me show you one by one. Click on by type first. By type means text, video, image. You can go and search for. See what kind of document types are available. So these are latest data. NDLI provides you 4.7 crores of text e-resources, 4 lakhs videos, 4 lakhs images, 2.4 lakhs audios, and 1.77 PPTs, 11 animations, 2000 and applications. So what is this application? See, for example, we got many theories in physics, in chemistry, in economics, in geography. We got many theories. If you go to this application part, they will tell you how a particular scientific theory is applied, what is the basic principle with an example. You can get under applications. So these are different types of contents which are available in NDLI. For example, I am searching for text. So you click on text, you will reach here. How much is there? Around 4.7 lakhs of resources, text resources are available. Fine. So how can I filter this? How can I refine this search? It's very simple. Here, the left side, you can see 10 filters are available. So you can make use of either 1 filter or 2 filters or 3 filters, or even you can make use of all the 10 filters to exactly get what you need. Fine. For example, what are 10 filters? These are the 10 filters. Let us see them one by one. One is access restriction. That means you can decide, I want to search only for open resources. I want to search for only NDLA resources. I want to search for only subscribed resources. You can filter, you can check this box to filter. Or you can search by author. You can click A to Z, all the authors are there. You can select the author and decide, I want the materials of this particular author only. You can decide. And subject category. So I want to get e-resources on this particular subject for languages, religion, technology, arts and science. Which subject you want? You can select. Educational degree. For example, I'm doing LLB, I'm doing MPhil, I'm doing MA in history, I'm doing BA English literature, I'm doing BBA. So you can sometimes you can go and search for the e-resources meant to your course. Then you can go for this educational degree. Then comes the difficulty level. You can search for very difficult content, easy content, medium level content. You can choose for difficulty level based on difficulty level. You can search for education level, whether you are a class 1 child or 1 to 4, 5 to 8, 9 to 10, 11 and 12, UG, PG, or technical study or adult education. You can choose your education level. Based on that, you can filter the content. You can look for contents, e-resources in a particular file format. So I want only audio files. I want only video files. I want only PDF. So that you can go and restrict your search. You can filter your search by using file format. Then you can refine your search by language, by learning resource type. That means you can search only for brochures, only biographies, only audio lectures, only periodicals, only newspapers, only case studies, only audio books. So this way you can refine and filter your search. Fine. Then depending on the source, I told you more than 200 people are contributing their content to NDLI. So you can go and search. I want the materials of only IITs. I want only the materials of IITs and IIT. Or I want to get the materials only from CSIR laboratories. Or I want the contents from Bharathidasan University only. So that kind of selection, you can go and select one or more than one sources. Fine. For example, I selected one option here under education level. I selected UG and PG. I clicked refine. You see here that 4.7 crores has become 6 crore. Okay, it has reduced now. Fine. Okay, good. Now I am using another filter. For example, I want to have a materials which are medium level difficulty. Now it has come down to 70 lakhs. Fine. Now I want only PDF files. I am using fourth filter. I go to file format. I click PDF. Only 4.3 lakhs items are there. Good. I go for further filtering. I select computer science. That means I want only materials on computer science. Now what is the result here? Only 3.8 lakhs. Again, I go and select language. Under language, I select English. I want only English materials only in English. So it has come down to 3.85 lakhs materials. Then I go and click articles. Under document type, I want only articles. I am a research scholar. I'm doing a research only art. Okay, you click article. You see now you got around a less number of items. And then you go to source, click PubMed. In the sense, I want the materials from only PubMed, not from any other resource. Now you see the result, you just got 4,000 items. Fine. And even PubMed, you want the article written by one particular author. You go to author and select one particular author. You can see only 12 items are there. You see how? See the beauty of it? 4.8 crores of documents. I have brought them into a narrowed down list of just 12 items. So what are the filters I used? Author, subject, level, difficulty level, education level, file format, language, learning resource type, and source. I made use of all these filters just to get these 12 items. Okay, fine, good. And you click the particular item. If that is available for full text option, it will give you an option. You can go and download the entire full text. Okay, click here, open the new tab. You can click it, you can download it. Fine. So that's about. You have now browsed the NDLI collections by type. Well, the next one, browse by subject. Fine. See, NDLI provides you 3-layer search pattern. For example, you say science. In science, you say physics. In physics, you say electricity. This is a 3-layer structure. This way, you can conduct your query based on 3-layer subject search. For example, First layer, I selected these are the subjects. You click on first level subject, downward arrows here. You click this downward arrow, all the first level subjects will appear. For example, I click language. Okay. Once you click language, it shows that 7.89 lakhs of e-resources are available on the topic language. Fine. Let me go to second level subject. Click this downward arrow. I just clicked maybe something like what did I select? I have selected American literature in English. So how many documents are there now? 1.25 lakhs of documents are there. Now let me move on to the third level subject. You click the downward arrow and click a subject. For example, I selected American fiction in English. So I got around 70,453 results. Now with these results, you can go and apply all the 10 filters what I talked to you. You can give all the filters. These 70,000 results can be refined further using these filters. Fine. And that's about, for example, I just selected Mark Twain as the author. I got around 408 results. That way you can filter it. There is second way of browsing the e-resources which are available in NDLA. Okay. And third one, you can browse by source. You click that, browse by source. All the institutions here, you can see few institutions are listed. And what you can do is that you can either click this right side arrow or left side arrow to go here and there. That means move among the organizations. Otherwise, what you can do is that you give a click on this, click search. You can type the keyword, for example, CSIR. All the CSIR institutions will be listed. You can select. Otherwise, you can go on to search. For example, I typed GOKH. Only one institution is there, Gokhale Institute of Politics and Economics. If you click that, now all the e-resources which are provided by Gokhale Institute of Economics will be appearing. Around 16,600 records are there. Now you can go on to make use of all these filters to refine your search and get exactly what you need. Okay, fine. For example, I used 3 filters. I want the contents on social science. I want the contents in English. I want the books. I use 3 filters. You see, I just got only 72 results. Fine. So that way you can use filters to refine exactly and get what you want. Fine. And fourth one is browse by learning resource type. That means you can go on to search for a particular learning resource type. For example, you click on learning resource type. You get all the options. You click it. And you'll get the list here. Whether you want the booklets, you want case studies, you want albums, you want annual reports, you want appendices, or you want key tables, lab materials, law reports, law judgments. See, whatever you want, you can go and refine your search to a particular learning resource material. For example, I have selected video lectures. I have selected video lectures, and all the video lectures will be appearing. And I have applied some filters. What are the filters? Subject, I want to get some video materials on technology. In the education level, I want the materials for class 11th and 12th. Language, I want only the video materials in English. And fourth filter, I want the materials from one particular source called spoken tutorial. So I got around 719 results from spoken tutorials. These 719 videos are in English. They are meant for class 11th and 12th. And they are meant for the subject technology. For example, I want to just see or download this particular video. You click on command line arguments in English in C language. You click the particular, you will be taken to the publishers or distributors concerned website. You can download the entire video or you can see it. Fine. So these are the 4 different ways by which you can go and browse the contents which are available in National Digital Library of India. Now, let us go and see how you can search. Click on the search box is there. In the home page, in the middle, you can see a search box. Searches can be done in 3 languages, English, Hindi, and Marathi. You can do that, no problem. Fine. And here, for example, I want to search for a particular keyword. Here I typed Quit India Movement. I typed Quit India Movement. I want the things to be searched in English. You click on this search button, you'll get the results. How many are there? I got around 54,829 records on Quit India Movement. Okay. I don't think all these records will be relevant to my historical research. So what I should do is that I should go for these filters once again. Good. For example, I applied 2 filters. One is subject, history and geography. And second one is PDF file format. I got only 2000 results. So this way you can refine your search. And if you are using a phrase search, see, NDLI permits you to conduct all kinds of searches. Whether you want to conduct free search or phrase search or truncation search or wildcard search. So all those searches can be conducted. Search status can be used in NDLI. I just applied a phrase search. That means I have given my keyword within the codes. Now you see the results. Only 115 e-resources are available on Quit India Movement. So this way also you can use various kinds of search strategies in NDLI. Fine. Then just near to search button, there is a red mark plus button which denotes that you can go for advanced search. Even that is possible in NDLI. You click on advanced search, you will land at this particular home screen. Here, I can search for a keyword like this. For example, I typed a keyword called Python. You know, Python is a programming language. I just typed Python. And here it says title contains, subject contains, author. So that means whether you want to search for Python to appear in the title or in the subject or in the author list. So I told you that I want to have it in the title. Here some more filters are there. That means I want the e-resources which are entitled as Python, and education level is school level or college level. I want them in English. Okay, just the next screen. Yes. See, I want books on Python. Title should be Python. The resources should be from Doge. The e-resources should be meant for UG and PG, and they should be in English. And I want articles. That means even before you click on search button, you can go and fix all these filters and then you can search. See here, I got 260 items. I just used 4 filters. And once you get these 260 items, these 260 items can be filtered again using the filters which are given on the left side as usual. Fine. So that kind of search is possible. Then what other things are available? Miscellaneous things. See, NDLI has developed a very beautiful mobile app. Just go to Google Play Store, download the mobile app, just register yourself as a member. See, whatever I have shown now, all these items, activities can be carried out in your mobile phone using this mobile app. All these 4.8 crores of documents can be browsed and searched in your mobile. So it's a very useful mobile app. You can download. Please try this one. And even bulk registration is possible. In some colleges, what they do is that maybe the librarian, most probably, or even any other interested faculty members, they will collect the name, email ID of all the students and faculty members, those who want to become members of NDLI, and they will send a bulk list to NDLI, and NDLI provide username and password to all the members. Otherwise, also you yourself as an individual sitting in your own house, you can go and register and you will get username and password to your individual email ID. Absolutely no problem. Fine. Then comes feedback form. You can give a very qualitative feedback to NDLI. See, for example, you can select, see, I have gone to this particular web page. In this particular web page, in this sub page, here I want to give some commands. Everything is good, but I want so and so to be there. You can give your comments. Feedback can be given here. Then at the bottom of the home page, they give a YouTube video. If you are free, you can just go and click on this video. You can see a video about NDLI created and hosted by NDLI. You can go and see this video also. And apart from that, they give you contact information. If there is any doubt, you can contact them for any further clarifications. Fine. So let me go to the last part of my presentation. Yes. So dear friends, so far we discussed about 2 important e-resource packages. One list, NList, a commercially available e-resource consortium. If you are a member, if you're an Arts and Science College member, if your college is affiliated with a university and you are under 12B and 2F status, you just need to pay 5,900 rupees every year. You just have to pay 5,900 every year, and you can enjoy, as far as the NList is concerned, all the 6,100 full text journals, 31 lakhs ebooks. All your faculty members and students can go and search. If your institution is not placed under 12B or 2F status, then you have to pay around 35,400 rupees every year towards Enlist. Fine. So either you pay 5,000 something or you pay 35,000 something, you are making use of it. And secondly, I talk to you about NDLA resources. Around 2.7 to 3 crores of documents are free, full text free. You can go into search, you can go and download, no problem. So whether you are getting a e-resource content from a commercial database, the consortium, or you are getting a resource from NDLA, see, whatever it may be, whether you are getting a content from a commercial database or from a freely available resource, what is required is that our ethics, academic integrity says that you have to acknowledge the resources. Whatever may be the resource, whether you have taken audio or a video, or you have taken a thesis, you have taken an ebook, whatever it may be, you have to acknowledge it properly. That means you are taking the content from somebody, so you should be thankful to them. You should be acknowledging that, yes, I have taken this material from so and so person. You have to acknowledge. How to acknowledge? You have to acknowledge it using any of the styles. So there are many style manuals like American APA style, MLA style, Chicago style, Throbian style, IEEE style, Nature style. You will not believe we have more than 9,000 style manuals. So they tell you how you have to write reference for a journal article, a book chapter, conference proceeding, a newspaper, a video lecture, YouTube video. For all such kinds of resources, they tell you, they guide you how you can prepare the reference. Fine. For example, I want to prepare the references in APA, for example. I want to prepare APA. So APA says that APA style has got two parts. One is in-text citation and another is reference page. See, where is the in-text? Okay. See, as far as in-text citation is concerned, wherever you are getting some content from others in the same place, maybe in the introduction part, maybe in the review part, maybe in the discussion part, wherever you are adding others' content, there you have to mention the entry element of the author along with the year. So this is known as in-text citation. It is found in the text of your research paper. Fine. And secondly, whatever items you cited in the in-text citation, all those in-text citations should be placed at the fake end of your research paper, the end of your research paper, by name references. Fine. Okay. Even that is to be done. So dear friends, at the last slide, see, first of all, you should know about the existence of these kinds of e-resources. Then you have to make use of these resources. And you have to acknowledge, as I told you, you have to acknowledge in any one style, you should acknowledge the use of resources. And you should share. If it is a free resource, you have to share with others. If it is a commercially available, you can share with all the authorized users. You have to share the resource. And that is how you can promote the use of e-resources, whatever we have in our institution and whatever is being provided by various services like NDLA. So thank you so much for your very patient listening and presentation. Now I hand over the session to the organizers, so that if any participant would like to place any queries, so whatever I know, I'll try to answer the queries. In case I don't know the answer, I will try to get the answer and I will let you know about it. Over to the organizers, please. Sir, over to you.
Yeah, yes, sir. Can you switch on the video, sir? Okay. So, thank you, sir. It was a great session, and definitely we have questions, a lot of questions, and Madam will start posting the questions which are being posted by the participants as well as the other friends.
Madam, please.
Ma'am, your volume.
You are not audible.
உங்க ஆடியோ ஆஃப் பண்ணி ஆன் பண்ணுங்க. Yes.
Audible?
Yes,
Yes.
madam.
Very thank you for your good presentation, sir. Very informative it was. And my question is, how will it affect the institutional membership if students share their user name and password with others if they misuse?
Now, actually, we say that students, whenever they get username and password from a particular college, they are supposed to use it by themselves. They are not supposed to share it with other members, those who are not the members. If they are sharing, what happens is that InflipNet will have a check on which IP address is being used by which username and password. So they'll be able to have a track of whatever places, wherever your username and password used by many people. Once they find out, maximum what they will do is that they will disable your accessibility. That's all. So you may not be able to get any more access to Enlist resources. That's it.
For institutional membership will be affected.
Yes, definitely. No, first of all, if a particular user is misusing, first of all, his accessibility will be disabled. Fine.
Okay.
And secondly, you will get, as an administrator, you will get a warning message from Enlist that so-and-so user is misusing the information. So-and-so is removed from Enlist membership. So that kind of warning message you will get. Fine.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
We can also identify the misuser, no?
Yes, absolutely. See, in Enlist, there is an option for the administrator to log in and get the details about the people, those who have been using Enlist, and what are the statistics, month-wise, year-wise, all those things can be tracked, madam.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Is it individual membership possible in Enlist, sir?
No, madam. Actually, this is a consortium. This is a consortium which is being given only to those institutions, which are in the higher education sector.
Okay, sir. Sir, if in NDLI, individuals are doing membership, they
Yes,
are registering.
Yes,
As an institutional feedback, statistics, how can we get the information? If
Regarding
students are
what,
registering,
madam? What kind of
if
statistics?
our students are using NDLI, like Enlist, shall we get the user statistics of NDLI users?
No, madam. See, Enlist, you are paying money, you are buying a service. Since you are buying a service, you got every right to go and see statistics. One thing.
Okay, sir.
In Enlist, they provide you the full text content. Okay. But in NDLI, they are not providing the full text content. They act as a mirror. You go to the mirror, get the root, you will be directly going to the publisher to access the full text content. So NDLI is not providing any kind of research statistics or usage statistics to any institution. They don't provide, madam.
But is there institutional membership available in NDLI, sir?
It's not a kind of institutional membership. What you can do, the two possibilities are there. One is, as an administrator, as a person in charge of NDLI, you can do bulk registration. Instead of your students going and doing individually registering in NDLI, as an administrator, you can collect 1,000 respondents. You can enter all the names in Excel sheet. You can send it to them. So that kind of bulk registration you can do. One thing. Secondly, if you are interested to start an NDLI club in your institution, suppose you want to start a club, NDLI club. See, what you can do is that you go to all the classes, you take few children, one or two children from every section, every class, around 30-40 students. You yourself will create an Excel sheet, send it to them. All the 50 are enrolled, so you can have a NDLI club, you can have activities, and even they give award. So every year they find out which college is running a best NDLI club. They give awards also. Even they conduct some competitions among NDLI clubs.
Even for bulk registration, we cannot get the statistics.
No, madam. They don't provide. They don't provide.
Okay, sir. And one more question, sir. What are the infrastructure in terms of storage and software we needed for Enlist running?
Nothing. Either you should have a mobile phone or you should have a laptop like this, a computer desktop. Amma laptop is more than sufficient. You should have a Geo net connection. It's more than sufficient. You can access absolutely. They don't see, many of the e-resources which are available in NDLA, they are all embedded, madam. So you need not have a video player to see video. So video will be playing directly on the website, no problem.
Sir, for NDLA, there is a mobile app. For Enlist, I am asking.
Enlist, they have not developed a mobile app because, madam, see, NDLI is only a coordinating agency. But as far as Enlist is concerned, they talk to all the publishers individually. They bargain with them. They get the things at the bargain at a concessional rate. They provide. So and every year it may change also. See, one particular publisher who is there today, tomorrow he may go out of the institution. He may go out of Enlist consortium. Another publisher may come and join. So it depends on many factors. So Enlist has not developed any such kind of mobile app till now, madam.
Okay. Okay,
Sir,
thank you, sir.
from,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Is there any other questions, sir, please?
What is the
Sir,
difference
how can
actually?
we get? Okay, you please ask. You please ask, sir.
What is the difference between NDLI and Enlist? Sir?
So actually,
Very
Enlist is a scholarly content platform. See, here mostly we have got materials meant for UG, PG students, research scholars, and faculty members. So the contents available in Enlist are tailor-made or shortlisted to suit this particular community. But as far as the NDLA is concerned, they have got e-resources from class 1 to UG, PG. Anybody, lifelong learners, anybody who has got a taste to read, they can come to NDLA and access. That's a major difference between NDLA and Enlist. And Enlist, you have to pay money, NDLA is free.
Yeah, yes. And even the search engines, it can, for the same topic, say if it is for polymer, you can search for a 7th standard student or a research scholar.
Exactly.
Exactly. That is a big benefit for
Yes,
the
sir.
research scholars, the students, the teachers, and different category people. They can search for the same topic of their own standards.
Exactly. So that is a major difference between NDLA and a Google search engine. You go to Google search engine, type a word, anything may come. But in NDLA, you can go and search for very specifically. I want materials for 7th standard. I want only PDF. I want only English. So that way you can decide, sir. That is the very beauty of NDLA.
Sir, one more question, sir.
Yes, madam. Please, madam.
How can we get subscribed content in NDLI, sir? For
Madam,
individual topic or like?
No. Actually, madam, see, as far as browsing or searching is concerned, you can go and browse. You can go and search all the 4.8 crores of documents. Absolutely no problem. But if you want to search those resources which are categorized as subscribed resources, once you want to get a full text access, only when your institution has paid and purchased that particular e-resource, you will be able to log into that particular e-resource using the username and password given by your institution. If your institution has not subscribed to the particular resource, you can see only the abstract level information. You may not be able to get the full text.
Sir, as far as NDLI, individuals are doing a registration.
Okay, madam.
Then how can they get, sir, subscribed content?
No, they will not get. So I am telling you, madam, I think there's a different thing. See, for example, your college is there. Your college is, for example, I'll tell you one example. In Bhopal, there is an institution called ISER. You might have heard about ISER, there's an institution. The ISER institution, they signed a MOU with the National Digital Library of India. Fine. Okay. So their contents, whatever they have subscribed. So ISER institution, they pay money, they subscribe some content, but they are ready to provide their metadata in NDLI. Okay. So in NDLI, all the resources subscribed by ISER Bhopal, their institutional resources metadata will be available here. If you want, you can search. But if you want to get the full text content, then if you belong to ISER, if your institution is giving you username and password, then you can access.
Okay, sir. Okay.
That's it. But as I told you, out of 4.8 crores of document, 2.7 crores are free.
Okay.
2.7 crores are open access. You need not have any username. And apart from that, 77 lakhs of documents are full text documents being given by NDLA alone. So around 3 crores are free, no problem. Remaining 1.8 crores only, they will be able to have only abstract level information.
Okay, sir. For Enlist, sir, for students we are registering now, sir.
Yes,
after
madam.
the course of time, will it disconnect automatically, or we have to?
Actually, when you are registering for students, what you do is that you have to fix a date, eligible date, from which year to which year the particular child will be eligible for this particular course. So if you mention that, automatically they'll be selected.
Okay, sir.
For staff members, you can have it something like 20, 30, 15 years, you can have it depending on their age, something like that. For UG students, you can have 3 years. For PG students, when they enter, you can do it, you can decide, madam, no problem.
Okay, sir. Fine. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Sir, thank you, sir. The Singam படத்துல வர மாதிரி ஒரு கேள்வி கேட்டா நீங்க எல்லாத்துக்கும் பதில் சொல்லிட்டீங்க. It's very difficult, but still our library madam has managed to get some interesting questions to you, and
Thank you.
thank you. நீங்க இருட்டுல இருந்தாலும் எங்களெல்லாம் enlight and
வெளிச்சத்துக்கு கொண்டு வந்துட்டீங்க sir.
வெளிச்சத்துக்கு கொண்டு வந்துட்டீங்க. Thank you very much. And
Thank you.
it is time for a vote of thanks. Before that, actually, people have started asking for திரும்பி பார்க்கலாம் PowerPoint என்னென்னலாம் கேட்குறாங்க. The same program will be made relive. They can and the email link, the link for the relive program will be sent by email, so they can watch again. Only thing is they can't forward or rewind. So they can watch it fresh. And those who manage could not manage to participate here in live, they can always go for a relive program. And also we will record it and post it in our college website, www.lngovernmentcollege.com. They can follow the entire program as a YouTube program from our college website. So, ma'am, நம்ம vote of thanks போயிடலாம் இல்லைங்களா?
Yes sir, sure.
Okay, right. So, starting with quote from விவேக சிந்தாமணி, வெள்ளத்தால் அழியாது வெந்தரால் வேகாது வேந்தராலும் கொள்ளத்தான் இயலாது கொடுத்தாலும் நிறைவழிய குறைபடாது கள்ளத்தார் எவராலும் களவாட முடியாது கல்வி எனும் உள்ளத்தே பொருள் இருக்க உலகெங்கும் பொருள் தேடி உழல்வதென்னே. It is kind of so that is the speciality of knowledge. And only if libraries of Alexandria or Jaffna had e-library facilities, would have had a lot of e-resources and books which are relevant across the timeline of the world. When in doubt, go to the library is what J.K. Rowling has said, quoting J.K. Rowling. When in doubt, go to the library. And when in doubt, people, you need to go to people like you. You have given enormous information about e-resources, NDLI and NList. Thank you very much, sir. Dr. Ramasamy, the name itself is very special to us and Tamilians. Successful people always carry two things on their face, a smile and silence. You always used to be silent, but with a smile, you have a lot of knowledge, and you kept sharing with the world the knowledge that you accumulate, and that is the nature of a library, and it suits you as a librarian, sir. Thank you very much for sharing with us the knowledge that you accumulated over these years about these two facilities, NDLI and NList. Civilization is resource knowledge. Knowledge is about information. Information is wealth. So the only thing that you absolutely have to know is the location of a library. Is a quote by Albert Einstein. The only thing that you absolutely have to know is the location of the library. That is the importance of library. And the next, as a coordinator of IQAC and the organizing committee member of this webinar, I would like to place on record the support and encouragement provided by our beloved principal, Dr. D. Shekhar. In the middle of every difficulty lies opportunity, says Albert Einstein. Whenever you go with a problem to our principal, he will always come up with the opportunity to grow. And thank you very much, sir, principal, sir. Thank you for your constant support. And a university is just a group of buildings gathering around a library, is the quote, is a famous quote. Our central library is thing, and thank you, Madam Dr. Grace, for giving this wonderful opportunity for us all, faculty members and students and participants from across the country, for having given a chance to witness this wonderful lecture on NDLI and NList. A library is a hospital for mind, and thank you, Dr. Grace, for this opportunity. And thanks to the nurse in hand, Nagarajan, the library assistant, the library committee, Dr. P. Devaraj and Dr. P. Ejil. And a seed grows with no sound, but a tree falls with huge noise. Destruction has noise, but the creation is quiet. This is the power of silence. And thanks to the IQAC committee members and faculty members who have worked hard to make this webinar possible. Special thanks to Dr. Prabhu and the IQAC members. working silently for the development of LNGC. I thank all the head of the departments of LN Government College, faculty members of our college, research scholars and students. And I also thank the participants, faculty, who are faculty members and students from various colleges across the country. Your Relive program is available in another half an hour. You can always watch the program as a Relive, and you can also watch it through YouTube. So with this, ஓப்பத்தலைகூடி உள்ள பிரிதல் அனைத்தைய புலவர் தொழில். So with pleasure, we would like to take leave from you from this webinar 9. This is a 9th webinar of our college, and we are conducting a series of webinars with various departments, and other departments are also conducting webinars for their faculty members and students. Hopefully, we'll meet again in one such webinar in near future, or if this pandemic goes off, we'll meet again. Until then, it is bye from the IQAC team, library committee of our college, and all the faculty members. Thank you once again. Thank you.